Hello, greetings. Can't wait to share this. This is about Prophet Muhammad and how trustworthy was he. बहुत अमीन अल अमीन था बहुत कितना अल अमीन था ना. So I went back to my verse, Surah Nur, my verse, the verse I have a problem with always. And I considered the Sunni Muslim side unanimously that prostitution is banned because there's a general ayats are there, and indecency is banned, haram in Islam forbidden, hidden or apparent, and we take the general verses, keep chaste, but as for what your wives and keep chaste, and then get married when you are able to get married or when Allah provides for you. And I can wait. But I'm not ready right now. I just have had my meal and all. Anyhow, I'm kind of so I'm going to put something in my mouth or a sweet or so, and I won't be pausing here. Maybe brief. Maybe this will be a brief video, then another in detail. No, but I don't know. Anyways, it says in this ayat, which I'm not going to search. I haven't searched. Faith, take faith with reason and reason with faith. Something like this in some surah in the Quran. So we'll try, emotions will come, but mostly we're relying on faith and reason. Before faith, because you see, first comes reason and then we go up to that faith. So now I considered this, okay, and I'm going to take everything into consideration, see this Quran, the verses which made me shake and tremble on them. Surah Nur ayat 33, Surah Azab ayat 37, later on the Surah Azab verse 52, and Surah Tahrim, how trustworthy was Prophet Muhammad. One hand we say the hadiths have come and the trusted spirit has brought it, and when he gives his message, Surah Jinn, he is protected from all sides. He cannot make a mistake. Who is to be praised for that? So I was just thinking that I'm back to my religion in a way that emotionally, and also that no, because of one God and how Rasulullah went. So when my mother, before I was born, my mother was at the gate listening to this qawwali. We had a park opposite our house in Karachi, and the qawwali was about the praise of Allah and Muhammad. And so after our firstborn who died, she died in infancy, my mother was there thinking that if she had another child who survives, and so for his or her birthdays, she will call this qawwal, the Sufi qawwali, in praise of Allah and Muhammad. So then my father could afford it, and it happened that for a few birthdays earlier on in my life, like first, second, or third, fourth, fifth, until 15 until I was 12 years old, and so 12 or 11, I don't know, again 19. Okay, so that was it. Sabri brothers used to come to our house. Now, I have a heart, emotions, and majority, everyone, unanimously, all Muslims, all Islamic scholars say that prostitution is haram. So as I'll just, this is take it like a story or something. As I was in my kitchen and I even listened to the qawwali, Balaghul Ola Be Kamali, Sabri brothers, and getting all overexcited, and Har ek cheez chamakuti. And everything was so bright, became so bright because of Rasulullah going for Mihraj, ascension to God, meeting him. Even God himself could not take it. This kind of heights he went to, destroying all the idols, every element, every energy, like not destroying it, but just whatever the sign. Can you destroy the signs of Allah? So anyhow, this didn't come to me. And I went straight up there, like Muji Baba is pointing out Napu Muji. And I wanted to know the God of Imam Hussain, the connection he had, and we are really so bright in the Muslim countries like Pakistan and Iran. Iran, yeah, the women they've reached, Khomeini told them that they can work with the hijab on, and like that I agree to, that you should not put too much importance to your physical appearance. Health, be exercise, this and that, but be healthy enough to, go to work and achieve so much. But the greatest achievement, we are told in Surah Allah, is what? Greatest achievement is to purify your souls. So our imams are there to, our imams were always there in every age, one at a time, to help us thereafter. After Prophet Muhammad, that was a great thing. Okay, now, going too much far away. So I was just, like in Surah Jinn, he's protected. And he was really, really Al-Amin, the Amin. He was so Amin that he changed God. Allah told him, now since you've taken this Zaid, and even the Sunnis say, oh yeah, only one Sahaba's name is mentioned. And that's in the Quran. So Sunni Shias all believe in this. They all say, yeah, but why Zaid's name mentioned? I tried to see that, I couldn't find it. Why the insight, to have an insight on that? And then I said, about Surah Nur, Ayat 33, could there be a possibility that everything chaste, general ayats are there, remain chaste, marry, and even marry what your right hands possess, like marry them. It's called, the Shias call it temporary marriage. But I think to, put a bad name, I think, to this. First it started like this. Those pagan Arabs, does he ever think any good? Christians have some good. They can be our friends. No, or they can, no, sometimes they are good with us. Like they cry. The monotheistic, the leaders, priests who believe in the oneness of Allah, when they hear this, tears come down. Maybe Waraka also cried, because Waraka, we are told, was the cousin of Hazrat Khadija. Had tears in his eyes. Christians are good. I don't know what enmity Prophet Muhammad had against the Jews and the idol worshippers. Maybe there was Christians were saying Jews have this Medina or something, Baraka. I don't know. But it falls apart because, the Shia reasoning and take reason with faith. Any emotional thing I give you, that's because of, don't take that. Don't take something I give you out of emotional outbursts and passion. Maybe passion, no. Men ignite passion in women, that's why they're mentioned first. We are told in that ayat. No, okay, so men, you are also not, you ignite good passion in us. So we get married to you, oh God, Lord. Okay, all things failed until I said, how Amin, I remembered Surah Tahrim. How trustworthy is this Prophet? On one hand, we say that everything he says, the oaths, take your oaths seriously. Now, what kind of a prophet is going to? And then on one hand, we say he's the husband of these wives, but he's also Rasulullah. They can't treat him like a common man, can they? If they annoy him, then he takes an oath. He said, he took an oath. He promised not to. Let's say it's the honey even, although the honey doesn't. Or let's say even it is that stupid thing called honey. Aisha and Hafsa were, or even the other had, going to Zainab or Zainab bin Josh, and so it was Zainab bin Josh or Aisha was harassing, whichever Umayyad hadith you may take. Had it come from our imams, I don't know. But is he al-Amin enough? ये तो बच्चों की बात है. This is like kid stuff. You are telling us that our Prophet, this Quran ayat is telling us, and then what you are telling us is that we should take him as a prophet, who is Al-Amin. I know the trusted spirit brought it down on his heart. That's also an ayat in the Quran. The trusted spirit brought it down on his heart. This messenger's heart. We take it to be Prophet Muhammad, even though then his name is not mentioned there. Now tell me, how trusted will he be? Should he be disturbed, fazed? Okay, let's say he's a man, he's got many wives, but he brought these wives and said, well, I will help them. Then he should take all this, whatever problems will come. Some are not so good, like Aisha, we are told wasn't. We are told Hafsa wasn't. And it's not that we are told, we go through how much Aisha annoyed him. In the Sunni sources and in Surah Tahrim, we are told these two wives were annoying him. That's why this man is saying, this prophet, man, prophet, husband, common man. See, on the other hand, then we will be going around in circles. So let me just, should I complete myself or not? Because if I don't understand this thing, I don't see it, and keep going back to my religion, no, Allah, my religion, Hussein, no worship. Yes, Hussein told us with his sacrifice, showed us, proved to us to go to one God and no other energy or going here and there, worshipping idol signs of God, images. Just go straight to God. And how do you have that connection with God? Through them, through the means which Allah has authorized in the Quran. Through Rasulullah, Allah, Rasulullah, obeying. Okay, before obeying Allah and the Messenger, because we are told many, many times in the Quran, this will be another open thing. Before obeying, how can we believe in Him? Believe that we can believe in a divine God, in a God who is the divinity, all-powerful, but how can we say that He was a true prophet and all this? Because here in Surah Tahrim, and then obey Him, because we are told we have to obey Him. Allah and His Messenger together. And authority has been brought down about this. And how have we been told or shown? But this Allah is great, really, the oneness and mujiz, pointings. Now I know this is real. Reconfirming in myself and all this. So of course Imam Hussein proved to us that you should not be giving so much importance to your body and material values and all this. But that oneness. Imam Hussein proved it like anything in Karbala. And thereafter his family members, his friends, wives, sisters, mothers, whoever were there in Karbala, wives, Ashab, Imam Hussein's Ashab, what do you call them? I've forgotten the word. Assalamu alaikum. Ashabul Imam Hussein. No. Ashabs, friends, companions of Imam Hussein. They've proved it after Karbala, the aftermath of Karbala, and journey, captivity, atrocities committed against them. How patient, how they were just grateful, praising God. How they reached from Karbala to Kufa to Sham, I don't know. Not even saying a bad word to Yazid's army men, because Yazid, at that time was in Damascus, Sham. Okay, So all this, back to Surah Nur, ayat 33. But my reason says that how can it be all J's general verses, even if slavery was made redundant, like we are told, Islam wanted to abolish slavery altogether, we are told by the Shia side imams, but that we Shias, the followers of the imams of Ahl al-Bayt, didn't want, that is another point, didn't want to leave them and wanted to, be with them as slaves. But now a Shia would ask me, but Zahra, another point is in the Surah Nur ayat 33, this part, that what if slavery was abolished? Then we wouldn't have to, then that's a different point. You're going, you know what you're doing. But I'm not going to tell you what you are doing or what the mind or whatever this is that is doing. But what is, you are escaping this part of this. Even I am in my mind. If I ask this question, it doesn't go well. Because, you see, so then I had an insight that what if this verse was telling us, like these Jews and all have distorted their religions. And so was it that Muhammad and Allah, is Allah, who was my beloved Prophet Muhammad, the beloved of Allah, sorry, and his grandsons gave us such a grandson. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude. But what if in telling us in this verse, like in other words, in other verses he says, his Allah says, idol, sorry, I keep saying him. He says, it's sorry. No, a little bit I could be in. I could be punished. Fine, this and that. If I made mistakes, I'm like not too alert because I'm now again disturbed. I had a nice time listening to no, not a nice time. I was thinking like, हर एक चीज वो Zahra was chumking, like हर एक चीज चमक उठी. Like when the Sabri brothers came to our house, or when I was born, and all praise is due to Allah, and Rasulullah is that blessing that everything is shining and sparkling and glistering, whatever the word is, sorry, what do you call it? Everything is so brightly shining, awake. We don't have to do this meditation and all that. Just say 5 times obligatory prayers. And excuse me, like the whole family and everything is just so bright and awake and alert, so alert. You can see how alert I am here, that I make these I'm like spellbound. But please don't go on my mistakes. Just give a chance to this mentally retarded, like I said, right, person who is not that alert will be making mistakes. Spellbound Alfred Hitchcock, sorry, Hitchcock. See how? So, Surah Jinn ayat, remember that we have protected him from all sides, that he should convey the message properly. Then there's another ayat, Surah Muzammil or some other ayat, that we have, he does what, he knows the Quran and he does what Allah has told him to do. Or something the whole Quran, he knows the whole Quran like the Shias. Sorry, I may be wrong. Surah Najm ayat. He doesn't say anything but what Allah, not out of his own desire, but Allah's work he's doing. He's so God conscious and everything. At this time we're saying, what are we saying? He's so God conscious. Well protected, Surah Jinn ayat, and the Quran. He knows he's a prophet. He knows Quran was sent to him in complete form, but to tell the other people it had, or in one night it was like that Shab-e Qadr night that we Shia celebrate on 23rd but of Ramadan, but we celebrate it, either it's on the, we don't know, 19 we celebrate the Zarbat, either it's on the, of Imam Ali, that he was struck with the sword, and then second, third, Imam Ali martyred on the 21st Ramadan. Okay, there we don't celebrate, there we this thing, but we are, what do you call it, mourners. So मातम हैदर मोमिनो करो मातम हैदर करार का. Old Noah. Not well put. I don't remember word by word. How trust. We're back to this. Oh God, I'm jumping. Sorry, I have to be fast at times and slow at times. How Al-Amin was Prophet Muhammad. That he kept his trust, right? Under no circumstances would he break. But then here we give an excuse in Surah Tahrim that his wives were annoying him so much. अभी मुझे एक मकाम पे जाना है, like I have to reach a place. Step by step I'm taking you. Back to Surah Nur Ayat 33. Who did he want to malign? They're compelling their slave girls. That's why there's a problem here. In this verse, if you take this part of the verse, I'm saying it's perfectly put. But for you who say that prostitution is banned and take the keep chaste general verses and the verse that is in Surah Araf, forbidden are indecencies hidden and apparent. Please look at this. Because this verse, why is it put there? I have been trying to look at it through all perspectives, all sides. Scientifically, this way, whatever the theoretically, what do you call that, religiously, when you are academically, what do you call that? In every way. Could it be to badnaam, to make these, whoever they were before, who were practicing like Abdullah ibn Ubay, we are told, to badnaam, to give a bad name to those people, they were compelling their prostitutes. That's why it is only mentioned that compelling. Whatever the word is used, it's not used jabbar, I just checked. There's another word used for it in the Quran ayat, Surah Nur 33. Why is it put this way? Why is it put this way? Is it? So you see, prostitution, he trapped himself. Oh, that's what I'm going to show you, and if I say it now, you'll leave me. But if those dil rakhte hain, jigar rakhte hain, those that have a heart, embrace yourselves. ऐसे ऐसे झटके मिलेंगे आपको बार बार. You will get shaken again and again. Such shocks you will get. So embrace yourselves, please. I don't want to give you these shocks. But unfortunately, myself and you sharing this, if you are still a believer, meaning a Muslim, meaning believe Muhammadan, meaning in Allah and the Prophet, and also then thereafter the Imams, Shias, Imams of Ahlul Bayt. So, no, this verse where he puts that, where Allah says in Surah Nur Ayat 33, Do not compel your, so that it is like fataya takum, fataya, there's a word, it's like what your right hands possess. Shias will take it. Slave girls, maid girls, whatever they are, even so, fataya, okay, whatever this word means, it comes from what your right hands possess, I think. So, generally believed to be slave girls, I don't know. By the Shia, they will say they were, at that time, what were they? What were they? So anyways, to say, I don't know what they were, whatever the Shias will say, just put it here, edit. So just, to yourself. And then, compel not your slave girls into prostitution for the worldly gains of this life, right? It doesn't say that. It says, if they desire chastity. So, it's so good. It's telling the idle pagan, this wicked people who used to practice prostitution and compel. That's a commentary, Shia commentary that I'm explaining. But by this verse also you can see that there were these wicked people who were compelling them. You know what I mean? That's why. Compel. This is what your Allah wanted to tell us. My Allah, my Prophet wanted to tell us through this ayat that there were these wicked people, like not even who compel women or slave girls or there to prostitution, compelling them, जबरदस्ती करते थे, जबर करते थे. तो उनको ऐसा नहीं करो जब वो बेचारियाँ इतनी chaste होना चाह रही थी, chaste रहना चाह रही थी, and they wanted to remain chaste. Those poor girls at that time, girls and women wanted to remain chaste. Oh my God, meaning that time we had these girls who wanted to remain chaste. They wanted to remain chaste. When this marriage and all this perhaps wasn't even there, satisfying like imagine your parents are doing, your mother is a loose woman, she had you from, but these poor women at that time wanting to remain chaste, and God tells that some rare, no, you all want to remain chaste and keep chaste. And so God has given you muta, this, that, but if you like fear, then believing, if you can't afford a chaste, affordable, believing woman, then marry a less like cheaper, the one, if you can't marry a rich, I'm meaning rich woman, rich, full, what chaste? God knows full, why am I saying full, sorry. So, what am I saying? The point is, this guy feared to go into fornication. Let's say, suppose you are in this desert, you find this girl, marry her, and see that she is chaste. You have some fear. You want to go and tell her, let's go, I love you. No. I have this sexual urge for you. So what do we do? In the middle of the desert, with this beautiful offering. You say that, let's get married now. I marry you, you marry me in the name of Allah. and ya Rasulullah or whatever the, huh? And do you take me as your husband, the son of, and I take you, daughter of so and so, as my wife. So for a meher, for, oh, I'm just joking. No, step by step we are going, because this is very, very important. Money. Money is very important. No one ever I know, a Muslim, got married for free. But in the Quran it also says that you cannot, right? There's a ayat. I was looking at it. Like you cannot have, like, no, in the commentary section or somewhere, like God has forbidden these. Oh, in some Sunni site or somewhere I was reading about this ayat. Oh, about this, that prostitution is banned in Islam altogether. So you can't have free sex. In that particular website, it was a non-Shia website. I was trying to see all. So you cannot have free sex. And commitment, you make a commitment by saying, I will give you this certain money. We need Christian prince here. Anyways, to knock some truth in me. But then I will say he's a Christian and I don't want to go there and all this. Anyways. So someone like Christian prince who is a neutral prince. Anyhow, so what is the point if God bless you all. Khuda. My mother used to say that when she used to forget something. God make you full of good deeds. Something like that. Sorry, I've forgotten what my mother used to say. So this free sex has come in, and not to have it. It's haram. It's not allowed. Not recommend. No. So I should give you word by word reading that article, but I'm not, sorry. No. So I will give you this much meher, money. You are my wife now. Temporarily. But listen, I have the sexual urge and I need to fulfill it from, use you. It's not love or anything. Just for my sexual love. Although God has said in Surah Nisa that these men should remain patient, better for them. Now, let's take it. I was actually going to go to just, how trustworthy is he, this prophet that is making an oath that he breaks. And God tells him, Baba, I have made it obligatory. I have allowed you this and you are to please your wives. These are knowing. Who do you please? You please Allah. Is the Sunni style or the Shia style? Razi Allah anhu. Who do you please? This could be. So it's showing that he was trying to please his wives, annoying wives. There also he could have trapped himself. I'm trying to show you something. Then your hearts and your hearts have a tendency to go astray. You will give me that ayat and that ayat. I will give you this ayat and this way. And then your hearts will incline, Surah Ibrahim, to the prayer of Surah Ibrahim, the city of peace in us. your heart is going to incline towards Prophet Muhammad and his fruits, the Imams of Ahl al-Bayt. And you will put an innocent Shia who may be right, what? To death. Execute her. Because she's a murtad, apostate. So, please look at this. My heart also goes there. That's why I have to share with you. He was trying to. Now do you get it? Or I am not concluding. Okay, to tell us that these men were compelling, forcing them into prostitution. So do not compel your slave girls, Fataya Takum, into prostitution if they desire to remain chaste. He trapped himself here. Allah. Or now I don't. Can it be that Almighty who would put such a verse in? To trap himself. Insight. We need insightful people. We need people of contemplations. Oh people, Bibi Fatma Zahra ka sermon yaad hai, or Bibi Zainab. Remember, bring to mind the sermon of Hazrat Fatima Zahra and Lady Zainab bint Ali. O people of faith, O people of reason, turning to you. So reason and faith taken together. So ayat hai. There's an ayat. There's a verse in the Quran. Take reason and faith together. I don't know whether faith is mentioned first and then reason or something like this. But trying to tell you that first reason, because faith has not come in us as yet. For Islam, we should just call ourselves something, Muslims or something. There's an ayat also there. So I have to contemplate on this, get some insight. Make maqam pe likhe. I'm taking you to, my Shia, this style of oratory, of the speech, the sermon, passionate. But let's come to reason. Sometimes I become passionate, most of the times perhaps, but don't miss out on the reason here, the insights. Sometimes we need more than reason, insight, to see in cases how to deal with them. First insight comes and then reason comes. Like we are told Hazrat Suleiman, how he decided a case of two women claiming that one of their children was their daughters or their son, their child. And so how Imam Ali would decide to, with insight, and then reason would come. How to, say that, okay, I'm going to kill this child, and which one will do what, something like this. So the one perhaps who really cares is the real mother would say, okay, I'm not the mother. No, you are the mother of this child. Like that, and then you go on ahead. Like we are going ahead with this Surah Nur ayat 33. Keep contemplating. Keep mentioning, keep looking at it. What could it be that God is saying? Not prostitution, ask yourselves. Not just prostitution, but compelled prostitution of these slaves. giving yourself such a great name. Our follower, that is true, yes. But look here. Giving yourself such a great name. Islam, your religion that you have. I feel like crying, really. But tears are dried. I don't know if I'm laughing or crying, both. Distressed, so you trapped yourself, you see? You see, that's why I have to question this. I questioned it, and what has happened now? Majority of Shias have all united saying in this that prostitution is banned. Who is the one in trouble with Sunnis and Shias? Wahhabis and Salafis. But they are all this thing of Sunni side, all come from Sunnis. What's this? Okay, it's sorry, my charged speaker. Okay, now, so you say that those people, men, wicked men, and they know one, and they've mentioned it in Quran, multilingual Quran Shia website, under this verse, Abdullah ibn Ubay. Some wicked people, some wicked people like Abdullah ibn Ubay used to practice this despicable trade, hired women and all this, and made them go into prostitution. Just for some moment, shocking silence. What he forgot to mention. What he's telling us the extreme case. Compulsion, forced prostitution. When these poor, like in my own words I'm trying to tell you, when these poor women wanted to keep themselves chaste, what you pagan Arab idol worshippers at that time, in pre-Islamic time, used to do is compel these slave girls, fatayatakum, into prostitution. When? Now there's more. Add, what do they say to the wound? Salt and pepper, chilies. When they wished to remain chaste, meaning they didn't want to become prostitutes, you forced them into prostitution. What you forgot was that now the general verse, Zahra, is I can't see it, please. Okay, it is there, it is all mandatory hijab in marriages. What your right hands also possess are there, it is mentioned. You can have temporary marriages, you can give them. And the good point here, my side, is that the Shias say mutta, it is pleasure. Pleasure of that part, that sexual part pleasure. I am taking you to have pleasure. I read in a medical article today, but it won't help in this, maybe that if you don't have sex for a long time, it's not like your body will rot and you'll die or something like this. it is healthy for you. Some say it is healthy for you. Medically, it is, sometimes it may be unhealthy, but most of the times they say it is healthy. I mean, even like practicing sometimes, self-restraint, like you do fasting. And also you refrain from sex in this Islamic fasting during the fasting time. Very healthy. Then you can. So, no. Sorry. If you don't have sex for like 2, 3 years, 4 years, it's not going to kill you. It's, not going to give you any diseases and like you. Some medical. So this is also there. Like we are told that if a man stays away from his wife, married, it is unhealthy for a married man. It is unhealthy for a married man to stay away after, away from this thing. So, sleeping with his wife. So within like 3 months, 3 months is okay, but the 4th month could be dangerous for the man. Unhealthy. He should go find himself someone who he can temporarily marry, Shia's muta, and say that this is I'm doing. And also the niyat, we are very, very honest people. Let me show you the Shia website. No, it says here for pleasure, and I'm taking you as a wife for this pleasure of mine, right? Muta, Shia Islam. Search, Google search. And after a fixed period of time, muta marriage is used so you can speak to potentially spouses. No, you put here. Bring that. Al-Islam. Sorry, Arabs are just Arabs are they know how to speak in English better than I do. My cousin knows really here, who has not even been to a British university or college, or hasn't studied her whole life in an English school. I was admiring her English. Mutta is a marriage, Hadith, literature, jurisprudence, so those of men and women whom you enjoy. Surah Nisa, verse 24. So those of them, women, whom you enjoy, give to them their appointed wages. What are you doing? You are loving them? Emotionally, affectionately? Foul play. No, what? Sorry, romantic. What's the Mutta al-Nikah al-Manqati, discontinued marriage, temporary marriage, but what is the thing? Jurisprudence? Rented women. In some works, a special term is applied to women who participate in Mutta, Mustajara, or rented woman. Okay, if this doesn't sound like prostitution, no, it is a legalized prostitution. Mutta is considered a kind of rental. Abdullah ibn Ubay hired. Isn't it rented? Multilingual Quran, commentary, Shia, from the Shia side. Sources. In general, a man's basic aim in this kind of marriage is what? Love. I love you. The sexual enjoyment of a woman. If you cannot see this, is this enough, or do I have to more with my Shia and you Shia? What are you telling me? This is legalized prostitution. She will then, when the man temporarily uses her for sexual enjoyment, okay, calls her a wife, the child, if she conceives and carries and brings out, where Islam has made it that you take men, you are the maintainers, you take the responsibility. What is this? It's defining rental of the... Are you telling me... I don't want to read more. Because I'll be here, I hope not incapacitated. I really have a lot... I have to make my own food. Fry it at least. What, for enjoyment of what? I love you and this and that. No. Sexual enjoyment. And there's more. Do you want to see how it goes? Because my hands are shaking. I don't think... No. I mean, sorry, they're not shaking. Sorry, I always make this mistake. You may think I'm lying. But this thing has become heavy for me to hold. This tab. Small tab. And it's coming, and I'm scared also. For example, Imam Jafar al-Sadiq was once asked what formula should be recited when a muta is contracted. He replied, I marry thee in muta according to the book of God and his prophet's sunnah, without inheritance from me to thee, or vice versa. So the wife is not getting any inheritance for so many days, for so many dirhams. No, no, no. No free sex allowed in Islam. You're not saying Shias. This is for the Shias, not the Sunnis. For the Sunnis, it was concubines. But then it was cancelled, abrogated by an hadith by Umar, I think. Umar said, it was a hadith by Umar. Did he abrogate it? But a Prophet, now you see these kind of problems we're having. Did he do it? Did Prophet Muhammad do it? He said Prophet Muhammad. I don't know what that. This is word by word. Sorry, I cannot say. Follower, Khawarij, Muslim women cannot marry a non. Oh yes, no. So you have to make it a chaste Muslim and chaste. Are you kidding me? And those who guard the private parts. Yeah, this is mentioned here. Hence, you should not put your private parts where you do not feel safe with your dharams. Be careful of your money. I'm not saying this. I'm reading word to word here. This is my site. This is my Shia site. I've read this before, but it's very difficult for me to read it out. And those who guard their private parts. Surah 23, verse 5. What is the explanation? What do they say here? Hence, you should not put your private parts where you do not feel safe with your dharams. Keep your dharams to yourself. If someone makes an accusation against a woman, it is recommended that before concluding the contract, sorry. What private part dharams? If you do not feel safe with your dharams. Okay, how I have a place to reach because this was not where I was going to go. How trustworthy is our Prophet that you'll say he from biological adopted son, no inheritance to, an adopted son that he does not give inheritance to, and he's not your real blood, so God tells him, no? But also marries his wife. Because, he's tried his best. We are to, oh my goodness. I didn't want to bring this out because I don't have the energy here. In Surah Azab, the Shia commentary section, Prophet Muhammad tried his best. And then you are telling me that the verse before, Muslims, what Allah and the Prophet Messenger have decreed for you, decided for you, it is a decree. Allah brings down a decree. Allah decrees your fate. Your fate is decreed or something like this. Kismat badal bhi sakta. You can change your fate, but some decree, law, it is a decree. It is the decree of Allah. So like that, Muhammad has been put beside him as the messenger of Allah there, mentioned. Obey Allah and obey the messenger of Allah. And so whatever they have decreed for you, and this was decreed for Zainab bin Jahsh, Lady Zainab bin Jahsh, al-Mu'mineen. I mean, afterwards, she was the cousin. So now the Shias tell me that, she was the cousin, and how can these Sunnis, they really have this ridiculous reasoning that Prophet Muhammad went to her house and Zaid's house and started, oof, oof, oof. By Allah who turns hearts around. Hearts have a tendency to go astray. He couldn't see his cousin before Zaid get married to her. But first you give it to, so you are even worse. There are men, that indecent proposal movie, American movie. Why? Because some pagan Arabs, I don't know, they used to marry their cousins. I have no idea what this is. So I've kept this contemplation open. Why would he do this? Have Zaid to enjoy Zainab? Could it be he wants people to believe in him? And but in this way, why? Why would he do this kind of a thing? So forget this, right? I will give more details. Not forget. For now, Surah Al-Tahrim. Please see this. We do not want to obey and worship the Allah of a wicked man. So wicked that I cannot even. So wicked. All the good things that they had and all the bad things that we had, put it on them, exchange. Could it be like this? Because the Surah Nur Ayat 33, that stands. Prostitution would be allowed in Islam. Whether you take the general verse as chaste or whatever. Okay, we go back here. So how Amin was he? How trustworthy was he? A kid, a common man. You are taking an oath. You know what an oath is. Promise. कसमें वादे निभाएंगे हम मिलते रहेंगे. Sorry, this is an Indian movie song. Janam Janam. Kasme Vade, like kasam is, and for the sake, oaths and promises. Kasam. For your sake, for God's sake, is kasam. And Vade, I promise in the name of Allah. I promise you. Now, please, गौर करें इधर, pay attention. Really seriously look at this. Surah Tahrim ayat. Wives are annoying him. He seeks to please his wife, we are told. Firstly, this pleasing his wives. He's trapped himself, but you don't see it and I don't also see it. And then I'm like, oh, what did I say? What is the title of this? That Prophet Muhammad's grandson, Prophet Muhammad. What shall I put the title now here? Please. Oh, he could have done something else. But he needs to show that these two wives, can you get his style? He needs to show that these two wives have been annoying him. What he wanted to show here. Do you see it or not? You don't see it? If you get an insight, tell me. And become an ex-Shia Muslim. And an ex-Muslim then. You see, he's telling us that then God, and then the commentary, then from the Shias. So, or he was going to Zainab bin Josh's house, the honey, and Aisha made it up and started to, close her nose and say, your mouth stinks. It's from the tree of Maghfirah. Why you people are annoying me so much? Why are you doing this to me? He could have hushed it down. Said, okay. He didn't want to divorce them. Imam Ali said, divorce them. Divorce Aisha. This is what Aisha is after Imam Ali now, we are told. Okay, that's another thing, but here come. He could have said, I know, Aisha, that the honey cannot stink. Maybe Zainab bin Josh has mixed it with something. We were not told this. We were told the bees have taken from the... Aisha can be so stupid. Aisha could have said that this honey is mixed with onions, garlic, and your mouth is stinking. She has mixed it. Zainab bin Josh. She's giving you poison and you don't see it. Save yourself. Don't go to Zainab bin Josh's. Just kidding. Aisha could have, so this matter could have been diffused, alleviated, solved in an amicable, reasonable way. Where he wanted to show that his wives are so terrible, he has trapped himself and the Shias don't see it. And they are like cursing that poor Aisha. Unjust. And even Hafsa. Annoying the Prophet. And you're the fire of fuel. You'd be... Okay, the punishment later, but in the later ayats, Surah Tarim. So, do you see that he trapped himself here? You can't trust him. How trustworthy is this? Al-Amin, the title given to him. That's why the Shia Sunnis, what? Moving our heads towards you. Shia? What? Sunni? What? Me like this? What? Look where? Look at Shia side. Look at Sunni side. Left side. Right side. And in another. Now I read. Checking what what your right hands possess are. Marriage, Surah Marriage. These coming on his left and right. These people coming. So ayat. And they're going before Muhammad. So I just, this is, what? These people are coming on his right and left towards him, like going before Muhammad. these people are the disbelievers, and they are coming towards his right and towards his left, and they want to be and before him. This may be, so I thought, this is some Arabic way of saying, because one Dr. Mawson translated Quran, or Mawson, I don't know his name, sorry, Quran.com. He has said that they're mocking him, mocking Prophet Muhammad. Now let's see if this is funny or not. Coming from the, it's a Arabic way of saying that. I guess that was the way. Someone please explain it to me, my heart. English song, American song. Explain it to my heart. Whether it's over now. Like, is it better that it's over now? Huh? Is it better that if I leave Islam, I'll be better off? You see, how can a prophet please his wives against God's law? What God has allowed him, and forbid himself what Allah has allowed him. Do you not see that do you not have that insight? Oh, insightful people. He tried to, in order to badnaam, give a bad name to his wife. This is childish stuff. On one hand, we say he's no, he's a prophet, and he's a man like yourselves, okay? On one hand, Allah has also said this in the Quran. Am I making sense? Oh my God. So you see Surah Nur, Ayat 33 part of the prostitution forced. He misses Allah. How can Allah the Almighty miss on the and say that these women want to remain chaste? When even you cannot rely, when there's an order for the believers and the right, these slave girls to keep chaste. Order. And so this verse is not about forced prostitution, and could it be, I'm not saying it is, but could it be that Muhammad and his Allah won't say how bad those people were in those times? So forget our thing that if slaves became redundant, Islam wanted to abolish slavery. It's Surah, check Surah, what the commentary, Shia's commentary say. Check Surah Baqarah, Ayat 177, freeing of the slaves, how you can do it. And Islam, and this thing, slavery, and if there are no slaves, then you can have no prostitutions. So, compelling ki to dur ki baat hai, like it's far, far off that you're going to now compel your slave girls into prostitution. Because Islam has done away with slavery now. Completely abolished it. It's, gone. Whatever you tell me. Ask me. I will, with reason, logic, insight, scientifically. So I'm not a science, so I cannot go into this. But what I've chosen the verses which were troublesome and shocking for me. So those verses that you and I as common human beings can see. A common human being can see in Surah Tahrim that such, on one hand, such a prophet, such, noble. And God has even protected him from all sides with angels and all, messengers or something, protection. Surah Jinn ayat, however, from all sides, that the message he carries is right. His own angelic scribes, or, who hear and then. So God has protected him from all sides. Why make such a much ado of, it's like, why bring it to this, that you have to take an oath and be so disturbed? These wives are jungly. Ooh, 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 ooh. Or take that jungly. Take that Indian movie, Dilip Kumar, Tarana. Dilip Kumar and Madhubala. Madhubala is jungly. And then we are told we can tame animals with our love. But then in the Quran ayat it says, those whom you love, you cannot guide them to the right path. There's a Quran ayat, those whom you love, you cannot. No matter how much you love them. Like or love. Something like, those whom you love or like, you can't guide them. Such a shame when lovers become strangers. Sure, lovers become strangers. We can't guide. Love has failed. Love has failed. But not in Corinthian Bible 13, 14. Not in the Corinthians. Above, what is the greatest? Greater than hope, faith, yani belief, iman. What is greater? Love. But here prophets are failing. Love has failed. Love is not. So what will save? Okay, what will save the person? We can't. His will, his own choice. What will bring that thing that will bring him to this, to awaken, to doing good? What will put good in them? These women. You have found any good in these women? Let me see. Surah Azab, Ayat 52. You cannot exchange your women for other women now. No more wedding, full-fledged. Even if you find some good in them. And we will find better women for you. Virgins of equal age. Hurids will come down for Rasulullah. Virgins. Or even, so I haven't completed that, right? Why did he go after his adopted son's wife when she was his cousin and he could have married her anyways if he found her beautiful? What is he showing? He can't find her beautiful. He's just making himself such a great man. But he has failed somewhere. I've caught him everywhere. Here. In this ayat I caught him. Surah Azab. Okay, you will say here, okay, the beauty verse, you will say, any good in women that you find, don't obey them. Don't obey them. Imam Ali has said this in Sermon 80. You can just wipe this thing off and say, no, the Umayyads brought. Okay, Aisha instigated it was for Aisha, okay? And because forget the deficient in faith, deficient. Okay, we are not deficient. God, the reason why it is a natural thing. This is stupid. Drop it. How Imam Ali explains that we are deficient in faith. Of course we are not deficient in faith. The 7 days God has forgiven us. 7, let's add those 7 days are not counted in our faith. We are not deficient in faith. That is Rad kar do usko. Reject this sermon of Imam Ali. Inheritance because men are the maintainers in Islam. That's true. Rad kar do us sermon ko Imam Ali. Reject the sermon 80 of Imam Ali. I reject it. True, it doesn't make sense. Women are good because here in Surah Azab, verse 52, you cannot marry women nor exchange them for others, even if you find good in them, meaning they were finding good in them, except for what your right hands possess. Why would he do this? Again? Sorry, the inside you, everything is gone now. Like these things go and come. Muji pointing. No, I can't believe this. That he, Rasulullah, married Zainab bin Jahsh. He first made Zaid, his son, adopted son, marrying this pagan practice. So we say intention is important. There's nothing bad, but God then says there's bad in this. How stupid can you be? So God enlightens the pagan Arab idol worshippers through him. He also practiced the stupid thing, your stupid custom, his stupid custom. No, he was in it, but he wasn't of it. Jesus Christ, be in this world, but not of this world. So he was in the pagan Arab surroundings, but he was not of the pagan Arab surroundings and worshipping style and all these customs. Anyhow, this man, this prophet, let's not even see it through the Shia. How do I see? I have tried to see through he made, so God said, he made the intentional, God is saying that he made an unintentional mistake. Niyat, intention is very important. But then, if you take the Surah Muzammil, or which ayat is that he doesn't, Surah Najm ayat, he doesn't speak out of his own desire. So where's the man in him? When will the Prophet come in him? When is his nafs coming in him, which is Imam Ali, we are told. His soul coming in this, his desire. Oh my God, Allah, what is this? So I'm so confused. When is he coming in as a husband, then as a prophet? Very, very confusing. But if you just, go slowly and contemplate on these ayats and the points that I've raised now here, debatable, arguable, objectionable. Who will you tell? Your Lord, I object to such a prophet. Who, takes oaths. Because his wives have annoyed him. Boxes his wife, like that's in the Umayyad. Slaps her. Aisha, oh my goodness. Ya Allah. No, but Imam Ali had said that never hurt a woman, even if she swears at you and hurts you. So then in Surah Tahrim, no, we are told he was so gentle. So gentle, this gentle man, very gentle, extremely, so gentle, merciful. These people, he's saying, these wives did this to me. I've been sent by Allah to you people. You even killed the she-camel, like we are told in some surah about the people of Saleh, Prophet Saleh, a Nabi. Ya Allah, so, you killed. Okay, but I even broke, I'm not, I even, to please you, I even told you that I will never do this again. What will you never do? Have honey again? You will never go to Zainab bint Josh's place again? How could you? Make such a promise or an oath? Promise. Let's say you made a promise. You gave your word to whom? Aisha? And then which one? Aisha, both Aisha and Hafsa were on your head. So you told them both that I will not go to Zainab bin Josh's place anymore or have this honey. Okay, and then one of them you tell her to keep a secret, something. Ooh, which one, Aisha or Hafsa? What secret? Do not, secret counseling and what secret are you telling one wife? Huh? That you don't want anyone else to know. Anyone else. This is now, we're going forward. The next verse. So what secret? You went to Zainab bin Josh. Maybe forget the Sunni and not to tell. Zainab, don't tell Aisha and Hafsa I'm coming to you because I made a promise to them. Probably it was Zainab bin Josh who went and told them that, he's been coming to me and he made a promise to you people to please you since you've been annoying them and this was a... Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. I cannot believe the Shia Hadith sources and explanation of this. Really, because it wasn't making sense believing, taking the Sunni sources and Shia sources. Such a Amin. Ask yourselves, what kind of a Al-Amin trustworthy person is he when he gets shaken and breaks an oath and promises something and pleasing his wives? Then you will say as a husband, no, go deeper. See it like I'm seeing it, without the glasses of prejudice and all this, and your indoctrination. Maybe some true insight will come to you. How? Because you see here, mutta, again. Yes, again and again. Mutta, pleasure, enjoyment. I pay you dharms. So don't put your private parts where you put your dharms. No. So be careful hence you should not put your private parts where you do not feel safe with your dharams. This is it all about. It's about money and pleasure, enjoyment, isn't it? And we are to, okay, pleasure under marriage, it is a legalized kind of a prostitution. It is a soft legalized prostitution. Renting women. What were we told there in the Shia commentary? Abdullah ibn Ubay hired some women for prostitution, we are told that. But you're renting these women. And then we're saying no free sex. And they're also taking the duty of... Yes, I know that we will be saying all this, that Prophet Muhammad wanted to make the societies so it was at the same time practical and clean, like abolish prostitution altogether. And no, but it doesn't say that in the prostitution ayat. So I still have, like you give me that, like my Shia conditioning gives me that doubt. Have I said the right thing? Did I look at this the right way? I cannot say that prostitution is haram. God should have mentioned it. Why didn't God mention it? So I sincerely went back to look at it and thinking in my, like looking and thinking and contemplating. So you would say that, in cases, so prostitution is not rampant anymore. Yeah, you can say that in the Sunni. Some Sunnis have mistresses, because they say Rasulullah had concubines. They don't understand like the Shias. For the Shias, this is temporary marriage muta. For some Sunnis, it is mistresses, concubines, because they say our Prophet Muhammad did have concubines. But that it was cancelled, or some say it wasn't cancelled also. So they practice this concubinage. Oh. So you can get all great about this. Fornicator, so adultery, perform adultery, but to a time period, mudda. Yes, he curbed prostitution that was rampant. Like, did you see Hindus, these idol worshippers, the dower comes in. Back, I'm just reading Randa. Sorry, my attention. Yeah, do you see Hindus like taking our idol worshipping and we're prostituting ourselves and our idols are dancing. Even if Radharani was dancing, she's igniting that passion because men ignite the passion. Shri Krishna, I got so scared, What is this? In Surah Marriage? Still idol worshipping. Oh, I take refuge because Shri Krishna, Peak-Freen. No, what is that pipe? Peak-Freen is the biscuit company in Pakistan. What's that piper playing his flute and seducing women? And they're all having orgies and sex with and now he's selling them. Or kya? What could Shri Krishna do between you and Mirabai? Mirabai and you, Radharani. Like that. Okay, he curbed prostitution, Prophet Muhammad, and all this bad things. And he gave it, and the marriage is here, and the meher is, okay, very, very, very good, but give me a chance. Give this mentally retarded a chance. And then you decide whether you want to leave Iran also altogether and the Shia Islam behind. And you want to run away from Iran. You want to leave. And you want to go somewhere, maybe to India, Himalaya mountains. Or you want to go to Vrindavan, lovers, divine lovers, place, Shri Krishna and Radharani in India, to India. So what are we saying? No love. Just out of fear of sexual desire. But with your wives you love, that is there too. So Islam is such a practical religion. You see, Zahra, It is for the minorities who have Muslim, some earth. God has covered everything from small, dirty, bad, trying even slavery to abolish completely. Now there are no slave girls to prostitute. Please. Yes. But Surah Nur Ayat, you don't tell me that Surah Nur Ayat, according to Surah Nur Ayat, it is no prostitution of slave girls. You can't tell me that. It is no forced prostitution against slave girls when they, and in addition, God has explained also when their own niyat, when their, जब वो अपनी खुदा आपकी बेटियों की इज्जतों को महफूज रखे, खुदा आपके माओं की भी इज्जतों को महफूज रखे. Sorry, this was a, खुदा आपके बहनों की इज्जतों को महफूज रखे. Sorry, it does not say here it was telling us why this, it turns the, it tells us about prostitution now. Because you see, keep chaste, there were these people, and it also explains. Shia explanation. There were these people at that time who used to compel their slave girls. Oh, this is going to be a long year, or maybe I was going to say night, but no. So please don't say it is about, it is what is it telling us? It is telling us that there were these people who were prostituting, compelling, not prostituting, compelling their slave girls into prostitution. And now Islam has come. Islam is saying, Allah is saying, why compel these prostitutions when they desire to remain chaste? Like there were these people, wicked. Allah bichari, poor girls wanting to keep chaste, they were being compelled into prostitution. This is so terrible, Allah. These what they were doing pre-Islamic years. Alas. Allah. No, I really should be serious. I'm crying seriously or not. I don't know what to think about this, but why didn't God put there? But if after their compulsion, not that they've been compelled, and God couldn't do anything, save them, but Allah is their big. Oh, then why do you make rules and say punishment? Because that affects many people. Zina, anyone can do it. Fornication. Am I on the right course of reasoning or not? Huh? Here women are supposed to remain. Allah is consoling them. He's of forgiving, most merciful. But Allah does not need to be of forgiving to them. Because they were compelled. If you're forced, it's not. And God is saying they wish to remain chaste. But after their compulsion, God has given you money. God is maybe of forgiving. You can't say God is forgiving. God has, because you see, it depends on the intention, motive. Your wish, your choice. Their choice wasn't in it. You are forcing the women of your slave women of your time. And God is saying then God could not save you. Of forgiving, merciful, I understand, perfect. Of forgiving, God should have said, these despicable people who were practicing forced prostitution, when these slave girls wanted to remain chaste. This is forced prostitution. Can we have a different punishment for this? Then we go to you'll take me to that ayat. Cut off their limbs on the opposite sides. War with Allah. So Islam wins today again. War with Allah and the Prophet. War against Allah and the Prophet, and making mischief on land. Meaning, see, Imam Ali has said in Najil Balagha, Allah, Hussein, Hussein, Hussein. Muji Baba pointings. There's nothing, no one but God, one God, nothing. No idol, no force. Hussein, Hussein, Hussein. Cut them. Opposite sides. Acha. Those make it, this is, what have they done? Now I'm really into some kind of, I don't understand the Quran, I think. But there he made up. Cut them opposite sides. Or just throw them out of, exile. You're ostracized. Yes, they deserve. I think these ones who compelled the prostitutes, the slave girls who didn't want to be prostitutes. Sorry. Very, very important. I should be slow and I should be alert to know what I'm saying, not in a trance. So, what is this? Disobedience? Keep chaste. You didn't. And these girls who didn't, slave girls who wanted to remain chaste, you forced them into prostitution. What will happen? Which punishment shall we give you? In the Quran, where is it mentioned? Maybe take that ayat. Those who wage a war against Allah and His Messenger and create mischief, moreover, create mischief on land. Either this, that, crucified, opposite sides, cut off limbs before like something, and all the three things. You have three ways. Ostracize them depending on what they've done. How? Yeah, we can. Do you think we can use this punishment on forced prostitution on these slave girls? But we are not told. Not even in the Shia commentary do I find Imams telling us, go there, go to this ayat, give them a befitting, exemplary punishment. They will not forget. No, I'm the one going there, taking you. Mischief and land. This is great mischief, great injustice. Maybe the Quran, they really did not understand. Even the Shia, where Imam one after another. Maybe oh God, I don't know. Maybe too many maybes. Can we be sure for some time? Or can we just, like Dr. Deepak Chopra said, live in this uncertainty? And uncertainty is such a disease of this. If you don't have certain surety taslima, complete faith in Allah. You are in a disease, such a bad disease of the soul. Doubts are very bad. How long will our Imam Mahdi, Imam Hassan Askari's son, keep us in this doubt? And not to explain, not to give me answer. Okay, now I think I've had enough. Do you see? I'm now in a confusion. So let's go to that one God, to Muji Baba, Jai Muji Baba. Let's sit and contemplate in this pointings of this witness that Imam Hussain has told us, timeless witness, what you are guarding. Who are you guarding? You do not see going after one sign after another. What Allama Rashid Turabi has said, कोई ताकत और कोई कुवत सिवाय ज़ात वाजिब के नहीं है. What is the ज़ात wajib? It is the all-powerful. There is no power, no force on anywhere that is like this. That is this. Sorry, excuse me, there was a message. That is this. That we can now establish in us, reconfirm, Muji Baba style, copying one of his from the YouTube. What is this? Zat-e-Wajib. Zat-e-Wajib. Wajib is obligatory. Farz. No, Sunni say, we say the namaz is wajib, it has to be constant. Sunnis actually would put it right. That farz is perhaps which is constant, so that's why. No, what is, sorry, I'm so confused now. Okay, wajib, so no, because Allama Rashid Turabi has said Zat-e-Wajib. Zat kya hoti hai, Zat? What is in existence? What is this Zat? This being, which exists continuously existing, wajib hai, which is like a thing that exists in itself. Then we go to Dua Mashlul. None knows where he is, in what respect he is, how he is, who he is, but he. But he. The mind cannot, don't give it to the mind, Muji Baba. Ya Hussain. Jahan Hussain wahan la ilaha illallah. Oh, they're stopping me somehow. No, wait. No. Sorry. Zahra. This religion is false religion. I can't, my mother I feel is telling me to. No, someone is it my mother? Is it Sarah auntie? Is it my grand aunt? Who passed away? Whose spirit is telling me this? Okay, I need to go. Take a break, I'm tired. I'll come back on this again. Stuck on this. Thank you so much.